planned. It's not planned. It's just it came naturally. So the way you write the songs and the way you go to the studio to record it is a different vibe. So probably that's what you can hear on the songs.
Yeah, you could hear another thing that I picked up too is the fact that you guys have been working together for so long on these. You could hear the chemistry there, and
Yeah.
obviously the progressions and everything, and songs like Above It All and Adrenaline, are two of my favorites on here. But I also wanted to bring up the ballad Dreams and Destiny,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a great song, and that kind of lets you explore as a vocalist, and it really puts you at the forefront. Tell us about that song. I mean, that song, as far as the ballad type thing.
Yeah, actually, that song it was very special for me to when I went to the studio to record that one. Normally for me, it doesn't take too much time to go to the studio and properly make the record. I'm really fast doing that. I can do the 10 songs in probably 3 days.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's enough for me to. But I really wanted to take the time with certain songs on this record that I thought deserved more attention, performance wise.
Right.
And especially this song, the ballad "Dreams and Destiny," because when Magnus talked me about this song, because I asked him, "What is the story about?" Right, and he talked to me, and he said, it's about a guy who can travel to the past to tell to himself when he was a child what he did wrong and what to do better, right? And he says, but also you can take it as a father talking to his child, and that really touched me because at that time I was having some issues to communicate with my younger son. He lives in Spain. He's now he's 12, but he was 9 at the time,
right.
and so yeah, when I went to the studio, I was thinking about that, and it really brought me to make a more emotional performance that probably you can hear on the final song.
That's really cool, listening to that story, and
yeah,
I like to tell everybody when I listen to, artists and their music, it's nice to have that backstory because
because every song is a story, but it's a kind of a universal message, so you can take it in different ways.
Right.
But sometimes you need to talk about this because it opens the story a little bit more for the listener.
It really does.
So,
it really does.
Yeah.
It makes you a better listener too.
Yeah.
So, with this one, what was it like going into the recording process? I know you say you go into the studio and, a lot of bands do the, pass the emails back and forth and the Zoom calls like we're doing now. Tell us about like how this came together as far as the recording process.
Well, I always try to get more connected with the people I'm working with, even if we're in different countries. I know sometimes it's not easy to get together in the same place,
Right.
Financial wise, it's not easy. But in my case, I always try to at least to recreate a little bit the relation that should be between two musicians doing music in the same room, right? So we have a lot of communication, and that's why I always ask to the people who write music for me. I always like, what is this song about? Because I really need to understand. I don't want to go to the studio just replicating the demo you sent me, right? So I really want to understand and put my own performance on it. So with Magnus, we've been working together for the first Ferrymen album is from 2017, I think. So yeah, it's a lot of time working together, and it's really easy for us to communicate. And he always let me do variations of his songs, like I can change vocal lines on the bridges or in the endings, and I can add backing tracks, backing vocals, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very important to communicate in the way that I understand what he wrote about on that song and in every song. So what I do is to have like a pre-recording, just recording my performance based on his ideas, and then from there listening and listening together. Okay, we can change this, we can change that. I'm going to change the lyric a little bit here because this word works better with this other one, and blah blah whatever. And then I go to the studio again, actually putting the 100% performance, screaming and all the stuff. So
Right. Hey, you do it well, man. I'll tell you what, very well.
thank you.
You know, with this one, obviously, you had the three previous albums and and all the other projects that you do as well.
Yeah.
Is there like a sense, and I'm sure Magnus and Mike also feel the same thing. Is there, that expectation when you go in, like, hey, we have to better what we did before, kind of going in and say, we got to do this,
Not really. And I think that's great because we don't feel the pressure of doing better than the previous one because every album is different at the end.
Right.
And yeah, and sometimes the people say, yeah, the last one, the Iron Whale, is your best record. And then some people say, no, I prefer One More River to Cross, which is the previous one.
Right.
And other people say, no, my favorite is New Evil, which was the second one. Right. I really like the first one, actually, for example. So at the end, we do what we feel is we're good at. That's as simple as it is. It's like it's very simple. Magnus, you write great songs, and then I go to the studio and I put my stuff, and then we know that Mike is gonna crush it on the drums, no matter what. So that's for me makes the Ferrymen in a very it makes it a very honest project. So we are not trying to fake anything or to push too much certain things to make it sound more like we're gonna compete with other bands or whatever it is.
Right.
It's just what we like. Probably it's my favorite project to sing on. If we talk about the Sunstorms and others, probably the Ferrymen is the one I enjoy the most going to the studio. And I know the Magnus really enjoy making the songs and same as Mike. But yeah, the end is just this is Magnus, Ronnie, and Mike doing their stuff.
That's exactly the way it should be, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
There has to be like that, like that sense of calm too for you as a vocalist to go in with these guys, knowing their level of professionalism and and I've had Magnus on the show before, and he's, I think he's a brilliant guitar player. I don't even think he even gets the recognition that he deserves. To be quite honest,
probably.
The guy's really good. So how does that feel, for you? I mean, to go in and just have that comfort level. It has to be nice for you as a vocalist for that.
Well, obviously, I feel I have confidence in my skills, and that's why I had the chance to work with many great, especially guitar players.
Right.
That's why Ritchie Blackmore calls me, and that's why Michael Schenker calls me for 3 years. Also, that's why I did a record with Vandenberg. That's why I did a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you need to be down to earth enough to let space to people who do. In my opinion, they are better than me. I can't write music as Magnus does, for example.
Right.
He is a great songwriter. He's a great guitar player, but for me, he's one of the best songwriters I ever worked with. And for him, it's so easy, because and I'm a little envy about his abilities of writing. So because when we talk about we're gonna do a new album, and I have 10 songs, and he sent the songs, I go, motherfucker, it's so easy for him. I will need 2 years to make this kind of music, obviously you have confidence in yourself, but you need to know your position also, like
Right.
I'm working with this guy, so and you need to respect that, and that makes everything more. easier at the end.
Right, right. And you could hear that in this album too. You know, like I said, the progressions of these records that you put together, they're
There is a chemistry there already,
right,
you know,
right,
because I understand what he wants, and he knows when he write the songs, he knows what I can do also.
right, right.
So it's really easy for us to work together.
It has to be comfortable for him too, as a as a songwriter, as a guitar player, to say, look, I have Ronnie Romero singing for me. I'm able to,
Yeah,
stretch the boundaries a little bit on different things, because this isn't, just, basics here,
yeah,
music wise. I mean, you guys are really bringing some top tier, styles
yeah,
here, like you said, from the power ballad, to the, to the, power metal elements. And
yeah,
the melodies are amazing. I think that's the thing that sets it apart.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's what I say. It's easy for us to work together because we understand each other, and but at least he says that I'm the faster vocalist he ever worked with. Because I deliver the songs very fast, like in 3 days I'm ready, you know.
Well, that's the
I'm
way it should be.
done.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
I'm done. It's funny because the first time we worked together with the first album, he sent the songs, and normally what I do is I do like 3 songs, 4 songs per day, more or less.
Right.
And I remember the first time, the first day I went to the studio, I didn't have much time to be in the studio, so I did only 2 songs that day. So I send him the
Right.
songs and I say, sorry, I only did 2 songs. And he was like, are you kidding to me? You know, I work with vocalists, they take 2 days to make 1 song.
Right. Right. You're
so this
delivering
is
too.
so this is fantastic. Yeah. So we always joke about it.
That's great. That's great.
Mm.
You know, we talk about how these songs are put together and structured. For the songs that you write and the pieces that you write, what's the process? And do you have a process? You say, well, I come up with this classic hook, and then I kind of throw it at this song to build around that, or is it something, different, like an idea or something you come across? Tell us about that, how you write a song.
Well, the one thing is for sure, there was something I didn't believe before I started to write music. It's like you need the muses coming down. Uh, Otherwise, it's impossible to write music, you know. So, but the most of the
Right,
times, just you collect ideas uh, every day. You know, just a line, something you hear, or a movie you watch, or a book you're reading, and there is a phrase there, so you write it down to have it there, and then when you need to write a song, you have different elements, different ideas, and you put it together.
right,
Um, Other in other occasions, normally when I need to write a song and I don't have time, I spend the night, you know, like repeating myself on the music and then trying to write a lyric. And sometimes that doesn't work, you know. It's like the music didn't came down, you know. It's like I can write a
right,
single line. It's impossible. But
right,
the most
right.
of the times it comes from the experiences from, you know, your own life, things around you, listen, places you go,
Right.
conversations you have. There's always an idea for a song.
It's always cool to hear that too, because I know my wife and I talk about that, and she even says the best songs come from life experiences, and
What I
and
don't
that's exactly what you
understand,
say.
what I don't understand is, you know, those musicians, they need like, yeah, uh, we're gonna start to write an album and we need 1 year to write the songs, and you know, there's a kind of a they're going in a closed room and writing and writing and
Right, right,
writing.
right, right.
I don't get that. I don't get it. In my opinion,
Yeah,
it's better when you write music coming, as I say before, from your own experiences from your family, or
right.
you know, something you see around or you hear around, whatever. It makes the music more honest.
I think so too. Exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because when you're delivering it, even when you're delivering it, in a studio or live or whatever, it makes you, tie back to those moments.
Yeah,
Um,
and it makes you you can tell the story easily, and obviously that makes that you connect with the listener better. obviously, because is a message that the listener can make their own. It's like as I told you
That's
before,
right.
this Dreams and Destiny song is like, yeah, anybody has who has problems to see their kids or they miss their kids or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, this really touched me because it's exactly what I'm thinking about or I'm
Exactly.
going through or whatever.
That's what's great about about music, and I think it's obviously the ultimate art form because it touches so many people in so many ways, and it's so you can relate to it so well, and
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's a big part of it.
I think musicians, creators, we have a responsibility to keep the music alive in that way, because we cannot forget that music is about intimacy with the listener. We listen music in or when when we have time to be by our own. When you are at home doing something, you put the headphone. When you are traveling, you put the headphones and you listen music with your own thoughts, or just because you are tired and you're in bed and you listen music, and 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 that makes the musicians to have the responsibility to keep that flame alive in the way that the music is attractive for the people to listen. And that's something that the rock music and heavy metal music didn't lost, luckily, because
Right.
now pop music is all about dancing and lyrics make no sense, whatever it is, just
That's
to
right. That's
to
right.
have
Exactly.
party.
Right. Right.
um but here, rock music, we still have that. We can still deliver a message, a positive message, the most of the times, like with the Ferrymen, the most of the songs you can take it as a positive message in your life, and it
That's
can
right.
help you go through different situations. So that's very important.
That's the way it should be, man. That's the way it
Yeah.
should be. I wanted to talk about, you have an amazing catalog of music. I mean, the bands that you've worked with, obviously Elegant Weapons and Rainbow, Sunstorm, Michael Schenker, that you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. And I think what's cool is you have a voice that fits so many different styles. And I think that's one of the things that we talked about earlier that ties you in to these different artists. And the one that really stands out to me is Elegant Weapons. I mean, I thought that,
Mhm.
man, when that album first hit, Horns for a Halo, and
Yeah.
it's been almost 2 years now. And
Yeah.
that album was a monster, Ronnie. I mean, that band and your vocal that came across, I thought it was like the perfect fit. It was like a wall that just stormed over you when you heard it. Tell us
Yeah.
about what it's like working with guys like Ritchie and Scott Travis. I mean, because those
Yeah.
guys are amazing.
There was that was lucky for me to get that part because I remember, I think it was right after the COVID, right after the lockdown and
Right.
all the shit
Right.
that happens with the COVID. And actually, the band, well, the project, they had a singer already for the record, and something happens. I don't remember exactly, but one day I got a call from Richie, uh, because we met before. We met a couple of years before. It was Judas Priest doing a show in Spain, and I was doing the support act with Lords of Black.
Right.
And the funny thing, I met Scott Travis way before doing a show with Rainbow. With actually, it was the first tour I did with Rainbow. He was playing with Thin Lizzy.
Nice.
We were doing together the Monsters of Rock in Germany, and we met. So after that, I did a support act for Judas Priest, and I went to the dressing room to meet Scott again, and he introduced me to Richie. So yeah, we met. That was like a 2018. So as I said before, after the COVID, suddenly I got the call from Richie Faulkner and say, "Listen, I have an album, I have songs, and I need a singer to record the songs." And as I always say to everybody who wants to work with me, I say, okay, send me the songs. I'm gonna listen to them, and if I like them, we can start to talk about it, because that's very important for me to have a connection with the music.
For sure.
I don't make records just for the money, for example. Not
Right.
even for that. It's like I really need to like what I'm gonna sing.
Exactly.
So yeah, he sent me the songs, and it was the same reaction that you say before. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is
Yeah.
fantastic. You know, I really want to sing over this. And especially because it's kind of a different, it's really out of my comfort zone in terms of, it's not heavy metal per se, it's something different. It has different
Right.
elements.
Right.
It's not heavy metal, it's not only rock music. So it got me really out of my comfort zone just doing, you know, my stuff. So it
Right.
was very challenging for me uh, from that point of view also. So yeah, I really wanted to do it, and I think the album was a real success. The people really like it. We did some shows also, and the band, it was very well received on the shows and the festivals and everything. So here we
Right.
are planning a second album. Actually, I got the songs a couple of weeks ago, and
Oh
we
man,
need we're
fantastic.
gonna we're gonna start to work on the demos with Andy and Ritchie in about 2 weeks. Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask you too. With if there's plans for a second, well, boy, that's gonna go
yeah.
over
Second
well,
second
man.
album
Believe
is
me.
happening right now. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. That's always great to
yeah,
hear. You know, you,
yeah,
you talked earlier about the stint with Rainbow and Ritchie,
yeah,
and you know, I've been a Rainbow fan for a long time. You know, and you talk about those iconic vocalists, Graham Bonnet
yeah.
and Joe Lynn Turner, who are amazing. I mean, but you know, Ritchie bringing you into to do that, I thought that was a great fit because it's it ties into those classic guys, but it kind of has like, hey, here's this modern guy, at these times, you know,
Yeah.
it's able to do these songs and fit this band really well. Tell us about that time with Rainbow and getting to work with a guy like Ritchie, who I think is an amazing guitar player.
Yeah, there was probably the best times of my life. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about it. Not only because we did a lot of shows and big shows, big arenas and tours and all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie. Also, the money was great, but
Hey, that's what you have to do it to keep doing it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But for me, it was very special because also I'm a very big fan of Deep Purple since I was a kid. Uh, you know,
Me too.
I remember actually the first record I bought with my own money was made in Europe from Deep Purple, the Mark III. So,
Great album.
and then the Made in Japan, and then Machine Head and all those records. I
Right.
remember myself with probably 14 years old, coming back from school and going to my room and listening to all those records all day. You know, and
Right.
then suddenly one day you have a message from Ritchie Blackmore himself saying like, Ronnie, we saw some videos of you singing Rainbow songs. We are impressed, and we want you to join the band. We're gonna do some shows. And it took me a lot of time to realize what's going on at that time. You know, I couldn't believe it. It was something like, it's really hard to believe. Have your musical hero is talking to you because he wants to do some shows with you. So we had great time together. Richie is a smart person, a very smart person. And obviously, he picked me for the band because he knew that would be a good match, and the people gonna like it because my voice sounds a little bit like Ron James Dio, or I can sing songs from different singers because I can adapt to different styles and other stuff.
Right.
But the most important thing for me was the time we spent together out of the stage. Uh, Obviously, making the shows, it was great, and playing all those great venues, it was fantastic. Uh, but the time we spent together rehearsing, talking, having dinners, and talking until 3 in the morning with a beer. He's telling
Right.
stories all the time.
Right.
Those will be the moments I will always remember. Because that was very special.
Yeah, that's amazing too.
Yeah,
And I remember, I mean, you talked about those classic Deep Purple albums, and I think I was 5 years old, and I liked Smoke on the Water, so that was my first album at five
right.
years old. I remember holding it. My parents got it for me. So to
Nice.
to see that guy, and I could just imagine what it was like working with him, with just
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. I remember to listening to the Made in Japan album and thinking about Jesus Christ, this is the best drummer I ever had. This is the best bass player I ever had. This is the best guitar player ever, the best singer ever. You know,
right.
I had them like here, and suddenly one day I'm in the same room, in a rehearsal room with the same guy, and I remember the first time we met for rehearsals, it took me by surprise because we did some acoustic rehearsals first, and then when we switched to the electric rehearsals, I was doing my stuff, preparing my microphone and all this stuff, and he took the guitar, and I didn't realize that, and suddenly I hear him playing the Stratocaster, and I got goosebumps. I mean, literally, it's like I couldn't believe it. The sound
Amazing.
of
Yeah,
Ritchie Blackmore coming from 2 meters away from me. It was amazing.
that's amazing. That's an amazing story too.
Yeah.
And to have a chance, that says so much about you as not only a vocalist but as a person, because these guys want to work with you. They say, hey, this guy has what it takes, and you can hear that, when I hear you do the vocals on pretty much everything. I mean, it's just you bring that passion, you bring that energy with everything that you do. And I think that, that's why, we as listeners, you know, when I know that you're on something, singing something,
Yeah.
I always say it's a slam dunk. It's one, hey, look, Ronnie's already
Yeah.
singing on this, let's get this, because we know it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot about you, man. And I think that really, really sets you up there.
Yeah, as I said before, you need to know, obviously you need to be confident on your skills, but also you need to know your position of in what you are doing.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
gonna try, I'm not gonna act as a diva, or I'm not gonna try to shade what is Ritchie Blackmore, because it's uncomparable with me in my career. So you
Right.
need to
Right.
understand, this is the fucking Ritchie Blackmore.
Right. You got to
So
stay in that lane. Yeah.
yeah, he brings you to his band. So when
Right.
you try when you treat that with respect, and obviously the respect you have also for his music, it makes everything easier. And as you say, I think that the people who went to the shows, and the people who listens to the music we did together, they can hear that. I mean, there is a because I act as a fan, as I am
Right.
a fan. So I,
Right.
I
Right.
I try to do my best, but respecting the original music.
That's the way it should be. And you definitely did.
Yeah.
Definitely did. I look back at the first time I heard you in Lords of Black, that was 2014. I
Oh,
believe that was the first album, the
yeah.
self-titled. And I thought that album was a monster album. I loved, Nothing Left to Fear and Forgive or Forget. And
Hmm.
when everything was gone, that was a favorite.
Yeah.
And that album really, seemed to launch you, into to that class, the up and coming vocalists, and to get you to where you are today. Everybody takes those steps. Tell us about
Yeah.
that time, that first Lords of Black album, and going through that process.
Yeah, yeah, probably is my favorite album from Lords of Black, also because it was all self-produced. At that time, we didn't have a deal with a record label.
Yeah.
Actually, the funny thing is, we tried to get a record deal with Frontiers, and we never got any reply. Um, but for the second album, I was announced as a Rainbow singer, so we got the deal immediately.
There it was, yeah.
Uh, which is okay. Yeah,
Right,
that was
right.
part of the deal. Like, yeah, I'm the new Rainbow singer, so everybody was coming for Lost of Black. But I remember with the special, um I really like this album, because we spent a lot of time working on the songs on pre-production. We've been like more than a year, probably 18 months, just working on the songs, because we really wanted to deliver something that was not made before in Spain, especially
Right.
at that level. There is a lot of great Spanish heavy metal bands. They all sing
Sure.
in Spanish, which is okay, but in the songwriting, and as a guitar player, as vocalist. There was never something like that was made before. So we wanted to do it, and we wanted to bring something different, and so we worked a lot of on the songs, and we treat the product with a lot of respect, and yeah, that opens a lot of doors for us. At the beginning, we did a lot of shows. We did a lot of shows not only in Spain. We did a lot of shows in Europe. We went to the Prog Power in Atlanta also. Um, we play in Japan because of that, you know. So yeah, obviously that was actually my first album as a professional singer, I would say. Um, and that opens a lot of doors. That's for sure. And I will always be grateful to uh, to be part of that record. You know.
Yeah, it's a great record. And you know, it's great to hear, you know, the passion you had for it, because you can, you know, the first time, you know, putting all that effort into it and then to see it pay off, that has to mean
Yeah,
more to you than anything right there.
yeah, and also because it's the same thing I do with my solo band right now. I always want to do it like in the all way. Um, I don't want to just to have bands where, you know, everybody is in a different country, and you know, sometimes you need to do it like the Ferrymen because, you know, it's a studio project, which is okay.
Right.
But I don't want to have a band where we don't meet each other for the recording or the songwriting and all the stuff.
Right.
So we wanted to do this way with Lords of Black. I want to do this with my solo band, like a meeting all together, you know, recording all together, and rehearsing. To be an honest band and honest musicians, like we don't play with backing tracks, we don't play with recorded backing vocals, and we
Right.
are not tied to a click on the show, you know, like uh, like the bands like the bands I love from the 70s, the same Deep Purple or Rainbow, whatever, you know, just
Right.
five
Right.
guys on the stage playing, and uh, whenever it goes the show in any direction, we're gonna follow, you know.
That's right.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That
uh,
is. That is.
yeah, so yeah, with Lords of Black, we try to do that. With my solo band, I do that. You know, we play shows. Sometimes I change the set list during the show because, you know, you
Right.
need to go. Depends on the kind of the audience you are playing to. Sometimes it's easier to play some songs, and sometimes people expecting some other songs,
Right.
and it's funny because sometimes also I stop the show and I say, okay, tell me what do you want to listen. And some people comes
That's
and say,
right.
White Snakes, you know. So yeah, we play a White Snake song. Why not? You know.
There you go. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you keep the audience happy, and
yeah.
you feel that flow. I mean, what they're giving
It is
back to you.
it is real music at the end. You know, it's just five guys playing
That's
real
right.
music. There is not a script. You are not tied to a click or to a backing tracks or whatever it is that you are tied to it when you
That's
have
right.
that,
That's right.
and you play like a machine, and it shouldn't be like that.
Hey, that's what performance is about right there. That's why
Exactly.
they come to see you. That's why we listen. You know,
Yeah.
do you feel it's easier now, Ronnie, to you know, to compose? Um, you know, with the obviously, like I said, the previous successes and everything. I mean, do you feel that, you know, as you go through these processes and work with these different bands, is it easier for you, you know, now than what it was, or do you put more pressure on yourself now to better it?
Well, it is true that you get to a point where there is some automatism in certain things, uh, but especially because we are talking about form of art with the music. As I said before, you shouldn't be tied to anything. When you write music, when you play music, whatever it is, it should come from the soul and from the heart. That's why there is certain things that uh, you should keep like free, like not tied to anything. and that relieves a lot of pressure. Actually, that's really cool because uh, when you think too much about things you did before, and like I did a record and the people they really like it too much, or I did a record in the other hand and the people really love it, so I should do the same. But it's not the same period of your life. There's not the same circumstances.
Exactly.
It's not the same circumstances for the people who is listening also, you know. Yeah,
That's right.
because
That's
sometimes,
right.
yeah, because some periods of your life you like different kinds of music, different bands,
Right.
for
Right.
in my example, uh there was a moment was I was a huge fan, and the only thing that I was listening it was Dream Theater,
Right. Right.
right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And then I cannot listen to theater anymore.
Yeah.
you know,
I
I
could see it. I could see it.
I need like simpler things right now. so
That's
so
it.
obviously, yeah, that's the thing. So you shouldn't think too much on the things you done or you did before. Just live the moment, and as I say at the beginning, the experience of your life you're gonna tell you where to go. And one thing that's very important for a musician is not to be tired of uh, what the people gonna think, uh,
Right.
because I think that's a huge mistake. Because it closes a lot of doors on the creativity side.
For
Uh,
sure. For sure.
because you say, okay, I shouldn't do this because the people really like it, don't like it. But when you wrote that, you really like it. That's why you put it on the record.
That's right.
So, you need to follow your heart at the end.
Yeah, you do it for what you like and what your passion is, and
Yeah, I
hopefully the
mean,
people are gonna like it.
we're not going to deny that at the end, music is a product that you need to sell. That's for sure. If
Right.
But it's very important. You are making music because you love music, not because you want to, buy a Ferrari.
That's right. That's right.
So that's what I say all the time is like, I make music. I love to make music. Some people like it, some people they don't like it, which I really respect.
Right.
Because in the same way, some people love Coca-Cola and some people love Pepsi,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Um, but I'm really happy with the formula of my Pepsi, right?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Don't go back to
So,
the old formula or a
and at
different
the
formula.
and at the end, if there is just one person who feels happy listening to my music, I think my work is really done.
That's right. That's a reason you do it.
Yeah,
You touch so many different hearts and lives out there with what you
yeah.
do. When you look back over, we talked about that part with Deep Purple and Ritchie, and obviously, and in the years. I mean, you still got a long way to go, man. And I know that. But when you look back at what you've done, what are some of the
Yeah.
things that you're most proud of? I mean, you obviously these records. I mean, when I listen, I say, man, this is, it blows you
Yeah.
away as a fan.
Yeah. I actually I'm very proud and happy with everything I did so far. Um, Maybe if you ask me in 5 years, there will be something that I didn't, like, oh, I shouldn't be this record done because I don't like it. Because mostly for pressures from the outside, like, the record label telling you do it in this
Right,
way or don't do this or do that.
right,
That never happens with Frontiers anyways. Um, they give you a lot of freedom you just need to deliver the final product, which is great. I think, in my opinion, is great
that's right,
for the
that's right,
for the artist. And they're gonna support it. And it's just like that's fantastic. That's a win-win. It's a double win, because it's just um, that's what I say sometimes. Some people when they say, "Oh no, Frontiers, they have problems with musicians," and it's like I don't understand how a musician can have a problem with a record label while there is a contract where you just need to go and write music, record music, and you get paid for that.
do what you do. That's it.
It's very easy. It's so simple,
Right, right.
Um, so yeah, so far for me, it's been a wonderful journey from the beginning, from Orso Black, playing with Ritchie, and then with Michael Schenker, we did a lot of things together.
Amazing.
Everything I did, it's something like I really feel proud of. Sometimes I'm driving on the highway going to pick up my wife or whatever it is. We have like a 1 hour driving to the city,
Right.
and sometimes like I'm gonna listening to this, Horns for a Halo, or I'm gonna listening to this Sunstorm song that I really like when we did
Right.
it. So that means that I feel really proud of.
That's always good to hear. That's always good to hear. How about some of the things that are happening that are coming up in 2025? Obviously, the album drops on the 24th, and you're talking about all the different things that you're doing. Tell
Yeah,
us what's up with Ronnie Romero for 2025, man. We're always excited to hear that.
yeah. This is gonna be a fantastic year because in March we're going on tour with my band. We're going for the first time with this band. We're going to the UK. The last time
Nice.
I've been there, it was like 3 years ago with Michael Schenker. So, and the previous time it was with Ritchie in 2017, probably. So it's a
Amazing.
long time not going there, and we have 8 shows, and then we're jumping to Netherlands and Germany for another few shows. At the same time, in April, my live album is going to be released. That
Great.
it's a live album we recorded in a festival in Spain last summer. So it's all songs from Too Many Lies, Too Many Masters, some Ferrymen songs also,
Great.
all in DVD live album. It's gonna be fantastic. It's a nice product, I think. And then probably April, May, June, in July, September. I think in September it's gonna be released my new solo album, which
Fantastic.
which we're working on it right now. I think it's gonna be great because uh, it's gonna be similar to the previous one in terms of there is a lot of Dio, Black Sabbath kind of riffs, but also there's gonna be some surprises because there is a bunch of friends that are helping me writing a couple of songs, like Roy Z from the Bruce Dickinson
Oh, that's cool.
albums. He write a song for me. Um, Chris Cafferty from Sabotage, he wrote a song for me
Amazing.
also.
Nice.
And then the most important one and it makes me really happy and really proud. Russ Ballard, he wrote a song for me, which
Awesome.
I think is gonna blow everybody's mind because we have this connection with Rainbow because he wrote "I Surrender" and "Since You've Been Gone." And when I talked to him, listen, Russ, I think it would be great if I can have a song from you on my record. And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he sent me a fantastic song. It's such a fantastic song. It's more like a radio hit, obviously, because it's Ross Ballard.
Right.
But
Right.
I think that people are gonna really like it. So, and then we're gonna keep touring because obviously you need to support the releases with doing shows. So we're gonna do a lot of festivals. There are plans to go to the US, or go to the South America, and go to Japan, and we will see.
Looking forward to it. Definitely U.S.
Yeah,
You got
hopefully,
open arms here, man.
hopefully. Yeah.
How about anything in closing here, Ronnie? I wanna close, by saying thank you for doing what you do, man, because you know the sacrifices that you make for this great music. I mean, for me personally as a fan, it means the world. Like I say, it makes the bad days better and the good days even better. And just keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's appreciated here more than you'll ever know.
I really appreciate your words. That's make everything I do worthy because, as I said before, if you can make just some people happy with your music, is your work is well done.
That's it.
And everything else comes after, right? But
Mm,
for a musician, that should be the most important thing, just to make at least a bunch of people your music their the soundtrack of their lives,
That's
which
right.
is the main. I think it's the main goal.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's your accomplishment, man.
Thank you.
So I want to wish you the best of luck too. I mean, Iron Will hits on the 24th, and we got what 9 days right now. So I wish you Magnus and Mike the best, success with this one. And everybody that's
Thank you.
listening, please get on this, New Ferryman, Iron Will, fantastic album. Ronnie Romero, I want to thank you for being here on Talking to Fastlane. And you have an open door here anytime. I mean, anything that you're doing, the new solo record, anything, man. We'd love to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you. Take care.
Have a good night, man. We'll see you.
Bye,
Thank
man.
you.